Welcome back to Homeschooling Mama. Today I am going to talk to you about balancing out being a mother and a wife and maintaining your home and homeschooling. That is not an easy thing, right? And it can actually, I don't know about you, but at times it have made me feel like, I am just out of control, losing control, and no good at anything. Like I'm just not able to do it all. Like I'm just barely making it through. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. Sometimes you can feel like you got homeschooling down packed, but the house is a mess and everything else isn't going all that great. And sometimes you can feel like you got the house going down packed, but you're not getting the schooling in that you want. Do you ever feel like that? I feel like that. Maybe you don't. So maybe this is good for me to talk about it. Maybe it's not for you. But if it is good for you, go ahead and stay tuned. We can at least relate to each other, right? And let all the perfect people look at us and look down on us like we don't know what we're doing. But we know what we're doing. We're maintaining and we're doing what we got to do for our family, and we're producing good children, good citizens, good people into this world, right? And we're giving it our all. I want to talk to you about that. I remember I have 5 kids, okay, and my oldest is a senior in high school, and in the early years of trying to figure out how to homeschool, I just felt like a failure all the time. Like I just couldn't do it. I felt ill-equipped, just like, I don't know. I was doing it, but when you have that label of it as homeschooling, then you feel like you got to live up to some great standards, right? And I just felt like I was a hot mess. So fast forward all these years later, and all 5 of my kids are homeschooling. I still don't always feel like I have it together. There are times when I'm flowing in it and I got it good, and then there's times where I feel like I'm imbalanced. So I think that's a natural part of the process. I've been doing this for a lot of years now, and it's just a natural part of the process. So don't be discouraged if you feel like that. It's a normal thing, okay? So it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Just don't give in to that feeling and give up or stop trying. As long as you're trying and as long as you're moving forward, you're progressing, whether you know it or not, and you're doing better, whether you know it or not. So there's a lot of things that can help you to balance those things out. Now I'll always know before I go into some of the things that can help you, that even though you're trying to balance it out, the scales are going to kind of always go like this, right? It's very rare where you just have that perfect equilibrium. There's going to be times where you're going to kind of have to constantly keep trying to move things around and juggle things to keep that balance, to keep your whole life, the entirety of your life on an even scale. So it's not going to always be the same thing, and that's okay. What I've learned from me, you guys, is flexibility is the key. I have got to be flexible, because if I'm inflexible, something comes up, I'm going to break. I'm not going to bend. And so I have to have flexibility to keep the harmony and to keep the peace in my home. And for me, sometimes it's a little difficult because my husband is an entrepreneur. He has his own businesses, which requires some flexibility in that with scheduling. I have some things going on in my health which requires some flexibility for the whole house and with scheduling as well as the children. So it's a lot of things where I need to be flexible. And if I'm inflexible in that, I'm going to be stressed out all the time. I'm not going to be happy, and things are not going to go well. My family picks up on my stress. Then there's a lot going on with the kids. Everybody is just complete chaos. And so it's good to be flexible, so that way you can keep harmony in your life, keep peace in your life. Even if everything's not perfect, you can still have harmony, you can still have peace, and you can still keep progressing. And so for me, that is really important. So if I don't start school on time, I'm not going to be all upset about it and throw a fit. I'm aware of it. I don't always like it, but I'm going to stay calm about it. If something comes up in the day I didn't expect, something goes wrong, the refrigerator break that actually happened not too long ago, something goes on and I have to adjust my whole day and adjust my schedule. You guys, I try very hard, and I have learned to just make sure that I'm flexible with it. I've got to go with the flow sometimes. So that way the family stays at peace. We have harmony. And if I don't get all that I need to get done today, it's okay. I got control over my schedule. I got control over my life. I can make the adjustments. That's the beauty of homeschooling, you guys, is that we can make adjustments. And so that's one thing that you can really use to help you to keep that balance in life, is the mentality of I'm flexible, right? I can make adjustments. And that's a good thing. So use that. Let it work for you. You're not always going to feel balanced, but the goal is to try to keep as much balance as possible. There are times, you guys, where I have set schedules. There's times where I do block scheduling. There's times where we just have to play it by ear. But there are some things that can help me in all of those seasons, no matter what the schedule is or how we're doing things in life, to help me balance things out. So I do menus. You guys have heard me talk about menus. Menus help a lot. So you don't have to be thinking about what you're going to be eating. Sometimes it's a little frustrating trying to do menus, because when I do menus, I have to think about all the things that are on the schedule. Are we going to be able to be home to eat? Who's going to be able to do those things? Consider my health. Am I going to be strong enough to cook that kind of meal on this day after a week like that? So sometimes it can be a little frustrating because I got a lot to have to think about. Sometimes even on the menus, I got 3 different meals going because this person's going to be out of pocket and they're taking this with them. I have to eat this way. It's a lot of stuff, but the menus really does help because it keeps the family on the same pace. We all know what needs to be done. I don't have people trying to hunt me down and figure out what to eat, or sitting down. I come home from an appointment, I'm starving, we haven't ate all day. I'm like, why have you been sitting here hungry? We don't have those issues anymore because we do menus. And so it's helpful, right? If I'm not able to get to it, someone else knows to get to it. But with the menu, we also do for breakfast. Each one of my children, I have 5 children, so Monday through Friday, they each have their own day every week. They know that on Monday, this one every Monday cooks breakfast. On Tuesday, this particular one cooks breakfast every single Tuesday. For lunch and for dinner, I do maybe 4 of the dinners out of the week, sometimes more, and sometimes less depending on where I'm at. But we sometimes do a volunteer system because everybody has to learn how to cook. I usually put someone who has been trained in that dish with someone who hasn't been trained in that dish to be able to prepare dinner. For lunch, I'm home. I do a lot of lunches, but if I'm in a season where I'm not able to do a lot of lunches, I assign people lunches. So that helps to keep a lot of balance and order in your house as well. Now laundry, we get a lot of laundry, and if you miss one day of laundry, it's hard to keep up. My laundry works a lot. It goes a lot. First thing in the morning, laundry gets going. Before you can get down them stairs, you need to go ahead and put laundry in. I don't do all the laundry. I help out with laundry. My kids have chores. They do chores for a month at a time, and it's on a rotating system. I believe everybody needs to know how to do something. Whether you're a girl or a boy, everybody has to do it. So that goes for picking up poop after the dogs. That goes for taking out the trash. There are some things that everyone in the house needs to know how to do, because you need to know how to take care of yourself and not be dependent upon someone else to be able to take care of you. So everyone helps with chores, everyone helps with cooking. So the person that's scheduled to do the laundry for the month, first thing in the morning, that's their job. Get up, get that laundry going, right? And even though we're doing school, we're keeping our eye out. I have my washer and dryer so that it rings out and let us know when it's done. And we go in there and we change it. So we're doing laundry throughout the day. During school time, a lot of times while they're focusing on school, I'll get up and go keep the laundry going throughout the day. Other times when we try to do like a 55-minute and then 5-minute break. When you're on your little break, go just switch out the laundry. I'm not expecting them to fold it at that time. If it's a small load, fold it. But if not, when we get to chore time, go ahead and fold up the stuff for the day. So we keep things like that going, keep things on a rotation, on a cycle. That goes for me for laundry. I gotta charge this. Hold on just one moment. Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I had to charge this up real quick. But for like the lawn, I have a garden. I have a lot of fruit trees and pecan trees and nut trees and things, and I also have yards, right? So even with maintenance on that, it's scheduled. We water in the mornings and in the evenings in the summertime because it's pretty hot, and I'm growing a lot of things in some pots, and I want them to stay alive. So I even have that scheduled. Certain people do that. We kind of know when that's going to get done. We know when the dogs are going to get walked. Certain times of the year, we want to do it early, and we want to kind of do it in the evening because it's too hot during the day. We try to do it in the cool of the day. Certain times of the year, we usually do it with our lunch break. But in those hot seasons, we know we're not walking the dog. We normally do a lunch and learn. So as much things as I can have scheduled and set out, I do that to make things flow a little bit easier, because it can be crazy trying to get a lot of things done. Also, it's really hard with the if you don't get up before your family. Sometimes, I know every family is different. For me personally, it works out better when I get up a little bit earlier than my family, because I can get the spirit right in the house. I can light candles if I want, open up the house, air things out. I can get praying, I can get things going and get things organized and have a few minutes to myself to get things going. If my children wake up before me and they get breakfast, they're waking me up and I'm coming to the table for breakfast, I usually feel like I'm behind. There's some things I didn't get going, things I didn't get done. I meant to tell you, when you do the menus and stuff like that, that helps out a lot, because like I know what days I need to make some bone broth, because I know on this day I'm going to have, I need that broth for this or for that, so I can do things in advance. As much as you can plan and have scheduled out and assign. Don't try to do everything by yourself. When you have little bitties, it really makes it hard. But I gotta tell you, I got in a lot of trouble when I had little bitties, because I had the understanding that I needed to train them, and the earlier I trained them, I felt it was better. So I used to get a lot of trouble because they messed up a lot of stuff, but I understood that they were going to be trained early and that it was part of the process, and we held on to it and did it anyway. And now my husband, over the years, he's always tell me, I'm so glad you trained them how to do that. It's like, yeah, we made it through getting crumbs all over the floor. Some things I had to let them make a mess so that they can learn. But I started training my children earlier. So I would always tell you, train your children as early as possible. If you're folding clothes, let them sit down next to you and let them fold clothes. It's going to look like a hot mess. You're going to probably have to do it again behind them, but let them already start getting used to doing it. Let them already learn how to fold little things. You may not want them to fold the towels right away, or the shirts, because that's hard, but usually like a little face towel is easier for them to learn on at first. But let them do as much as they can do. It may not be pretty, but they're learning, and as they get older, they'll get better at it, and you'll have more help in your home to be able to balance things out. Planners, you guys, I would really suggest you have either a planner or a calendar or something somewhere. I have planners. I have a workout planner and I have a planner for my house, and I use that as well as for school, because I have to keep everybody's appointments down. But I also have calendars. I have a big calendar downstairs. My children have their planners as well to help them to keep up with the things that they got going on, and as well as school. On the calendar downstairs, we write all appointments so everyone can know what is on the schedule for everybody. So even though they're keeping their own personal schedules for school or for things that are going on, they're also we got the calendar so everybody can be aware of everyone else's things as well. That helps you to not be trying to be bogged down trying to remember everything you got going on, and then missing appointment, missing dates, missing things. Like I told you with the menu with the bone broth, I can be saying I need this broth for a certain meal or for a certain thing, and then you get on that day and be like, oh, I can't do it because I forgot to do it. When you plan that stuff out and you got it written down, everybody's on the same page, and it really helps in your marriage when you guys can come together and say, hey, look, this is what we have on the schedule, what do you got going on? And it keeps a lot of peace in the family, right? Between husband and wife, to keep you all on the same page. It does for me. That may be helpful for you. Now we're going to talk about something real, right? It has to deal with your race a little bit. There are some races out there where I understand you wash your hair every day and you do it in the shower. Good for you. Kudos. Keep it up, right? But for some of us, we don't wash our hair every day, and washing our hair isn't just, you wash it up, tie it up, and go to sleep, and it's good. It's a process. You got some stuff you got to do, right? And I have 4 daughters, so when their heads plus my heads, there's some stuff we got to do, so we got to plan that stuff out, because if I'm doing everybody's hair in one day, it's an all-day process, and I'm wore out by the end of the day. So I have heads scheduled when people getting their hair washed, when we're going to do it, what we're going to do for it, things like that. Sometimes braids work out great, y'all, because you don't have to do their hair every day. Anytime that you can, snatch up some minutes in your day to get more than you can do, that's a great thing. It takes a while to have to do it all in one day, but it frees you up for the rest of the week. So anything that you can schedule is a great thing. Here's another thing. I know it gets kind of sticky with people. It kind of gets sticky in my house sometimes because my husband's schedule can vary, especially at different times of the year. And he gets home later, and I want him to see the kids, right? And so there's variables. But in general, there's got to be a bedtime for your kids. There's got to be a time where you're getting them down consistently, where they're learning to get sleepy at that time. They're ready to go to bed. Because you need that time to unwind, to adjust, to have time with your spouse, by yourself. But a lot of that is you need to get your sleep too, and it's hard to get your sleep when they're not sleeping. And I know them babies, they can fight you on that bedtime, but you got to be consistent with it. And I'm going to tell you something else, right? My youngest is 10, and I still get up a lot in the night. Somebody got a headache. Somebody need this. I hear them moving around. It's just going to be stuff. Mama, I can't sleep. Can I sleep in a room with you and Daddy? And Daddy goes, no, right? So it's always going to be stuff out there. It's the beauty of being a mother and being a parent. It's a joy. But anything that you can schedule as much as possible and getting those kids down at night is going to be great. I got to tell you something funny, and I'm going to end this. For me, I wasn't born with the organization spoon in my mouth. I don't know about you. That bug just missed me. But I always had a desire to be organized, and I wanted my home to run better. So every year I worked on different things, and I saw how every year there was progress, right? It's progress. And it still get frustrating because I'm like, well, we ain't where I want to be in my mind. But I'm not like that anymore. But I have been like that until here recent years, maybe a year or two ago, right? And so the funniest thing happened. My brother and my sister-in-law came and they surprised us, and they were staying with us. It was so wonderful. And it was her first time being here. My brother comes and sees us, but she had never been here to visit us. And I come home from some appointments, and she said, I've been grilling your kids all day long. I've been grilling your kids. They'll tell you I've been asking them a lot of questions. So she had been grilling my kids, and I didn't ask her what she was grilling them about. I really didn't care. And I knew they'd probably come and tell me some stuff, and I figured some stuff out later on, but I just really didn't want to be bothered with it. And so I've been hearing a little bit what she's been grilling them about. And the little bit that she was voluntarily sharing with me, I asked them this and I asked them that. I mean, she kept coming at me with this stuff the whole time she was here. And she said, you're home. She says, I got to commend you. She said, your kids are they're very obedient. They're well behaved. And she said, and you're so organized. And you have so much order. And my mouth dropped. I was like, who's she talking to? Me? Because I'm the queen of still trying to figure out how to get this machine to run a little bit better. And she thought I was so organized. And I had no clue what she was talking about. But when the kids were like, she was asking us this, she was asking us that, she was asking us basically how we got a lot of things done. And you guys, there are some things that I have been working on to get going on in my home that I didn't recognize really brought the order that I was trying to get, right? So sometimes you're working on things and you might feel like you haven't gotten far, but you can believe me, if you're working on it and you're working on it and you're consistent, you got more order than you think you have, and things have cleared up. Sometimes what happens is as you get a little bit more order, you see where you need more order at, right? So any little thing you're doing is really going to help you. But the most important thing is to know that whatever you're doing is good enough. Just keep the peace in your home and keep progressing the best that you can. And any little parts that you can do to bring a little bit more structure, it's going to help you and have a big impact. I hope something in there was helpful for you and encouraging to you wherever you're at in your homeschooling journey. Remember, it's just a journey, and enjoy the process. Talk to you later. Bye.